Hello, Stock Car Champions. Sweet music here. Today we're talking Marchon. Now, I'm no Marchon expert, but I've read a few things. In 1988, Marchon released the original MR1 chassis. According to the scriptures, these were produced by a different company. They made a couple variations. You see, you got dual traction magnets and a single bar traction magnet. These were only available in black, and I've seen them with only the gold armatures. Apparently Marchon wasn't happy with the performance of these chassis, which I understand because they're barely drivable. So in 1990, they produced the standard MR1 chassis, which they produced themselves. These are only available in black, and I've seen them with both the gold and the blue armatures. And they're also available with headlights and both dual headlights and tail lights. But Marchon wasn't happy with the performance of these chassis either. They are drivable, but they won't compete with the other chassis of the time. So in 1992, they released the revised MR1 chassis. Now these are the ones you want to get. They were available in 3 colors. Black, yellow, and orange, and I've seen them with both the gold and the blue armatures. They were also available with headlights in both headlights and dual headlights and tail lights. I'll give you a comparison with all 3. That's the original, that's the standard, that's the revised. I call them the first variation, second variation, and third variation. They also made it in clear, which these are rare. And here's an example of headlights and dual tail lights. They made real short leads on the light bulbs. Right here we have a sound and light chassis. Now these are cool. They were only available on the standard chassis, but this board on top here has blinking lights and makes a siren noise for the cop cars and the rescue cars. I gotta show you guys these. These are cool. Here's the cop car. The rescue cars make a different blinking and sound. That is super cool. Now there's a couple other chassis I'd like to show you guys, but first I'd like to talk to you about the problems I found with some of these chassis. And that's your standard replacement parts are available, like your shoes, tires, springs, but they don't make upgrades for these chassis, which kind of sucks. And the thing you really have to look for is the traction magnets. The coating they put on these traction magnets was faulty and they just flake right off. You'll find some that are real bad, and you'll find some that aren't so bad. But with that being said, I've got a few of these chassis with rusty magnets that hold the track just fine and actually compete. But I've also taken some of these cars off the track just to find the traction magnet still stuck to the track. So you got to keep an eye on that. And you can find them brand new in the package like that. Here's an example right here. I got these out of the Chopper Rescue set, brand new in the package. And as you can see, the coating on the magnets are already flaking off. But I got to bust these out of here because I want to show you the alternating current chassis. Here's the alternating current chassis. This board on top allows 2 cars to drive on the same lane at the same time. You'll find these chassis in sets with single lane track with only 1 cross track, which is the Chopper Rescue set, and I've seen a couple NASCAR sets like that. Sometime in 1993-94, Scale Electrics entered the mix, and they bought the rights to use the MR1 chassis in their Scale Electrics Micro MR1 line, which according to the scriptures was a complete different entity than Micro Scale Electrics. But Ray Charles can see that Micro Scale Electrics was based off of MR1. But anyways, here's an example of a Scale Electric MR1 car. According to the scriptures, these were both available in yellow and black, but it's the same thing as the Marchon car. Same exact thing. Sometime in 94, 95, Empire bought Marchon, and they continued the MR1 line, and they produced the chassis in a dark gray. I don't know if you can see the difference here in camera, but it's like a dark gunmetal gray. And they only produced them in gray. So if you buy one of these chassis and it's gray, it's Empire. If it's orange, it's Marchon. But if it's black or yellow, it could be Scale Electrics or Marchon. But more than likely it's Marchon, because the Scale Electrics line only lasted for 1 year. That's what I know about the chassis. Let's take a closer look at the bodies. The bodies are comparable to AFX. They make them bigger and smaller. Here's an example of bigger and smaller. The bodies for the original chassis are not compatible with the standard and the revised chassis. But the standard and revised bodies are compatible with each other. As you can see, they have the same body clips. And I'll show you the body. And here's an original chassis. Complete different clips. And here's the body. Here's an example of headlights and taillights. There you got the tail lights. Here you got the headlights. I'll show you guys my references. Here's the scriptures. This is a great Marchon reference. There's some good Marchon stuff in here. This is an American sales catalog from 1993. This is a French sales catalog from 1993. Marchon made some really good stuff. They're definitely worth checking out. I didn't include the Jets on this episode because I could do a whole nother episode on the Jets. So until then, this is Sweet Music St. John with the SCLC, where everyone's a sock car champion. Sock cars for life, baby. Peace.